welcome to the show. Well, how many of you in our audience stayed up all night to watch the results? Good. Well, I stayed up and watched every single minute. I started out at a party in New York and drove home listening to the radio, not wanting to miss anything. I thought that John McCain's speech was very gracious and inclusive, and that Barack Obama's speech was very moving. He is a really gifted speaker, and I believe it is hugely important for Americans to have a president able to capture, shape, and always lift the national mood, and Barack certainly did that last night. Whoever you voted for or supported last night, we were, as President-elect Barack has said, not a nation of red and blue states, but the United States of America. And this morning, I composed and sent an email very early to the entire company, which I would like to share with you. And and this is what it says: we have just all witnessed an extraordinary achievement with the election of Barack Obama as the 44th President of the United States. For those of us who care so much for civil liberties and freedom for all, this is a phenomenal time. For those of us who desire change and attention to the real problems facing our great nation, issues like improvement of the educational system, our environment, health care, our country's mechanical infrastructure, the repair of our economy, and the end of impossible wars, we may now have an opportunity with this new and forward-thinking president to see some real evolution and change occur. I hope all of you are as proud as I am of the electoral process of the United States, which will permit all of us to benefit, hopefully, from an historic and heartwarming sea change. So that's what I sent to everybody today, and I hope you all feel the same way. And someone who was definitely up all night is my first guest. He is a political analyst, he's a commentator, and the founder and editor-in-chief of Scoop.8.com, and a national online student newspaper. And did I mention he's only 18 years old and a freshman at Harvard? Please welcome Aleander Heffner. Hi. I'm so glad you got here. Were you in New York all night?
I was in
Chicago? Oh, I thought maybe you'd even have gone out to Chicago and then flown back. So this is a very, very exciting time for us. And I have lots of questions to ask you. Did you get any sleep at all?
No, absolutely not.
You look a little peaked. And were these election results what you expected?
I think they were.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young people expected a landslide victory for Barack Obama, and that's what we saw.
Now, was the turnout greater than any other turnout for a president ever in America?
Well, we're still waiting to see some numbers trickle
Yeah.
in. By the way, Missouri was just called for John McCain, not that it's particularly relevant,
right.
But in looking at the electoral
Everything
landscape,
is relevant.
it is.
No, everything is relevant.
But look at this transformation that we've seen. In Indiana, in the two battlegrounds that John Kerry lost, Ohio, Florida, and then in the Midwest, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada. These are the critical states that Barack Obama won. And of course,
he spent a lot of time in those states.
He did.
He went there and he really, really worked very hard to turn the vote, didn't he?
He did.
And his machine, and when I say machine, I mean the most brilliant strategy, I think, that we've seen in a long, long time. The best I've ever seen.
From the bottom up.
Yes, from the bottom up, behind the scenes, that persistent, intelligent, getting the vote out was, I think, admirable, really admirable. So so the map has changed.
It has.
There are inroads into what are now known as red states, and they really helped the election.
And I think it's, in many ways, a sea change you were referring to, a watershed moment in American history, overcoming racial barriers, as the New York Times put it this morning in all of these papers. It's really a feat of such a tremendous caliber, it's hard to even put in perspective at this point.
Did any of these states' returns shock you?
Well, North Carolina hasn't been called, but it's
Right.
really leaning towards Obama at this point, and if he does win, even by a couple of digits, it will be, I think, momentous. Montana, early in the evening, was very close. In fact,
I know,
Obama
I kept
was
watching.
And
It was close.
It was close, and McCain closed in and ultimately took the lead. But the fact that Montana, I don't believe, was a double-digit victory for John McCain, that's also astounding.
Yeah.
This entire map has changed, and as you were saying, a lot is to be said about Barack Obama's infrastructure from the bottom up, the way he's organized a grassroots political apparatus.
Now, I had a little trouble at my polling place. Do you think that every site was ready for this surge in voters?
Well, they were prepared, I think, after a few days of early voting in which they saw huge lines, particularly in Georgia and in North Carolina. So I think some local officials readied, if you will, for a huge turnout, and the result was not too many any irregularities or issues at polling sites.
Now, have you always been interested in politics?
I think since a very young age I have been.
Is your family at all in politics?
No, they're not. My grandfather's in journalism. My father's a lawyer, but I founded this website, scoop08.com, to offer student reporting on the election.
Now, Scoop 08, I mean, it's finished.
It
right?
is.
So what's next?
Scoop 44.
Oh. And that is going to...
The new project will seek to kind of hold accountable the newly elected President-elect Barack Obama. And a lot of young people invested time and energy into his candidacy. Was
a youth vote what you hoped for?
I think it probably was. There's still numbers that will be released this afternoon.
They look pretty good.
They do.
They
look strong.
Look pretty good. And to see that sea of youthful faces, black, white, Hispanic, out there in Grant Park, I was so excited about that. And,
it was the same in Cambridge.
I know. And the excitement and the absence of booze, the absence of anything divisive going on there, only joy, was really impressive.
And we'll have to see if he can really attempt to make this new kind of politics a reality. That is the underlying question.
Right. Well, I think that he is off to a good start. I think he will choose advisors and cabinet members that I hope that will really instigate change and evolution. And that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm sure you are too, as the forerunner of the youth movement here. Any political aspirations of your own? I mean, you're young, but you must know if you think that way.
I mean, I'm very fascinated.
Are you studying political science? That's going to be so maybe the Scoop 44 is going to be your thesis. It could be your thesis.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fascinated by the intersection of politics and the press and the media and how they've interacted this election cycle, because with the new media, with scoop08.com, now with scoop44.com, you've seen a kind of spectacular...
Is Scoop 44 up already?
It's not yet. It will
when?
Be
Tomorrow?
In a month.
Oh, in a month.
In a month.
Oh, you're lagging.
Well, look, we're going to... I know. It'll be up in a month in full force. Right now, you can still go to scoop08.com to learn what young people are thinking as they analyze the election results. And we have a host of pieces that are ready to be published.
Any of your professors you want to thank?
All of them.
All of your professors. Good. Well,
Caroline Kelly, who was my English teacher at Phillips Academy, where I attended high school. A close advisor, confidant, if you will. She was always there for me. So
that's really great. Well, thank you for your great post-election analysis. We're very excited that you came on, and congratulations on voting for the first time. 18 years old, his first vote. It went the right way for you. Good. Well, please go to scoop08.com to read some wonderful reporting from some of the best and brightest student journalists out there. It's very exciting to see. We'll be right back.
Cooking School continues with a lesson in braising. And then Sarah Carey shows how to make a delicious pork shoulder. We'll be right back.